Ladies and gentlemen, William Barr absolutely decimated Democrats. They didn't let him speak because at the end of the day, he knows more about protocol and procedure and the law and the way things are done at the Department of Justice than any of the Democrats trying to demean him or undermine him or accuse him of things that are absurd. Number one, President Trump didn't commute, or the Justice Department didn't commute the sentence of Roger Stone because Roger Stone had this, was about to spill the beans and, disclose information. That's what Clinton recently stated in an interview. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. All of this is paving the way for Clinton 2020. I told you from 2017 in my Huffington Post article below, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Thank God. They're not going with Biden. But again, this is, okay, Stone has no information that could be damaging to President Trump. Michael Cohen doesn't have any information. Paul Manafort doesn't have any information. Nobody has any information. Putin doesn't have any information. Nobody has any information damaging to President Trump. They tried to impeach him on allegations that aren't even criminal statutes. He didn't even break the law. Then when they were called on it, Democrats said, well, it's a political endeavor. Impeachment is political in nature. It doesn't have to be somebody breaking the law. So then they always move the goalpost. They always change the narrative when they're up against reality. They then it's complete public relations spin mode. Mueller probe found nothing. Well, Roger Stone has something on Trump. It's just there. This suits the purposes of Clinton being nominee because from the Steele dossier that Madam Secretary purchased up until, this charade yesterday with Democrats trying to, disparage William Barr and accuse him of things, of like being Trump's attorney, his private lawyer or whatever. All of this is what they project. So when they were trying to accuse William Barr of being dishonest and deceitful and duplicitous, the Durham probe has nothing to do with vengeance. This is not only about Clinton 2020 and Clinton being the nominee, it's about the Durham probe. They're trying to undermine William Barr's attempt at erasing the Mueller probe from history, or at least finding out and then indicting the individuals who went after an incoming candidate based on gossip and hearsay literally purchased by his direct political rival. The Democratic National Committee, Madam Secretary, purchased the Steele dossier. That is a fact. It is also a fact that they would never allow Trump or anyone else to purchase a dossier against them. It is also a fact that they would never allow President Trump's intelligence chiefs to act in the same manner that Clapper and Brennan and others did, Strzok and McCabe and Kleinsmith and all of these people who literally texted their lovers and their friends, and their fellow agents, we will stop Trump. If the tables were reversed, they would never allow this to take place. So William Barr's like a bloodhound, like he's just sniffing the trail that leads to Clinton 2016 and 2020 and the Democratic Party and Brennan and Comey and Strzok and McCabe, and it's pretty obvious. So they tried to say that, then, and by the way, check out my live stream in the evening. It's great. It's like a little over 2 hours, and it's like a condensed 2 live streams into one, and people love it, and it's really doing well every night. I have people in other countries watching. It's fantastic. I have viewers in Australia, in the UK, in Nepal, in Canada. So check it out. You'll love it. Every evening I have a live stream on this channel, and subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a fantastic segment today. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. And thank you to my new Patreons. You really help. You help me remain independent, and I just thank you so very, very much. The link is below. They tried to then go after him for federal officers in Portland and other cities. Now, I disagree. I think that President Trump is falling for a trap. I would rather not have federal officers in cities. There is a constitutional crisis or issue that could take place if, God forbid, someone loses their life. Whether it's a federal officer or a citizen. Even if you have chaos and mayhem running rampant within cities, it's the Democratic Party within those cities and states that actually want Trump. They actually want Trump to bring federal officers, and they don't care what happens to federal buildings and to property. They don't care about the property damage. You're not dealing with a political party or with politicians that really care about violence. They don't care. So they're almost certainly trying to lure President Trump and the federal government into basically a political quagmire, a political counterinsurgency conflict. Anyway, I explained my vantage point on several segments. I know a great percentage of my viewers disagree with me, but William Barr handled those questions brilliantly. I understand why William Barr and President Trump are bringing officers into cities, federal officers, and I understand why they want to protect federal buildings. This close to an election, I don't see the political benefit at all. It's only a possible negative. Anyway, that's another story. When he was asked, and they tried to grill him on that, he basically said, "Where are the Democrats? Where are the Democrats condemning violence?" Because you can't have the notion that Democrats are very they're hilarious. They're so into creating their own reality that they play these really lame and pathetic semantic games. Everything's a peaceful protest because there have been peaceful protests. So because there have been peaceful protests, they cannot acknowledge that there have not been. They cannot acknowledge that there are also examples, many of them, where chaos, mayhem, confrontations, physical confrontations have taken place, property damage, buildings set ablaze, all of these things. And they have not addressed this issue. They cannot address this issue. Because if they do, then they're stuck with the reality that, oh, wow, we can't benefit politically. Oh, Lord. Democrats can't benefit politically if they acknowledge that there's a tremendous amount of property damage, $1.4 billion in property damage by one estimate. By one insurance publication talked about $1.4 billion in property damage throughout the country. Minnesota asked for $500 million for Minneapolis. Okay, Trump said no way. Well, they have like $1.3 billion in state and municipal bonds that they're about to pass through their own state legislature. But and then there's 10,000 arrests nationwide. The polls are completely off. Whenever Biden opens his mouth, people say, "What is this exhumed body talking about? What is this person who looks and acts like a cadaver that got Botox and plastic surgery?" Okay, this man, everyone knows, even Charlemagne the God said that he should shut the F up forever. And he despises Trump. And he says that about the current presumptive nominee. This is the biggest political charade of all time. I have said every single day that all of this is to get Clinton as the nominee since the second that she lost. Every single day. I'm the only person in all of YouTube who has told you Clinton is going to be nominee since the moment that she lost in 2020. Now, This is how bad Biden is. The monumental Electoral College victory, or let's just say Electoral College victory, and the popular vote victory that President Trump would get, because nobody's going to get out of bed to even think about voting for Biden. Forget about actually voting for him, to even think about the possibility of getting into the car to vote for this man. So turnout will be abysmal for Democrats if they go with Biden. They're not that inept, and they're not that... The corruption overshadows their incompetence, and the corruption leads to, it's not really a political party. It's not about meritocracy. It's about using a dossier they purchased, and then using this meeting with Papadopoulos and an Australian diplomat that nobody in Congress has ever interviewed, to fabricate a Mueller probe with Comey, who was a disgruntled government employee that was fired, and then his memos were utilized by Sessions, whom they frightened with a potential investigation because he spoke to Sergei Kislyak, which is totally fine, but he said that he didn't. And then they went after Michael Flynn for speaking to Sergei Kislyak, which there was nothing wrong that he did. They go after people for not doing anything wrong, and then they say, "Oh, you lied to the FBI." Isn't that? But there's no way to prove what happened because the 302s are not. The 302s are written. There is no taped or recorded conversation with these agents. So then you get Democrats saying defund law enforcement, while in the same breath saying, the FBI is the pillar of integrity, fidelity, bravery, and integrity. So, and there are some agents that are great. I'm sure there are many agents that are great. Then there are people like Peter Strzok and McCabe and Comey. But I mean, everybody knows what's going on. Everyone, let's just say I'm wrong, which I'm not, and they're going with Biden. The absolute euphoria of defeating them again, which, by the way, they're going to lose again. Whether it's Clinton or Biden, Clinton gets close. She can actually win, but that's if Clinton will become the first female president this year. Only if President Trump falls for more traps. Anyway, this was a complete debacle for Democrats because they're very bad at grandstanding because there's nothing to grandstand about. You can't accuse William Barr of doing anything wrong when he literally stated, how many people did I indict? Which is not a good thing for Trump supporters because we're all waiting for justice. Sorry, you can't purchase a dossier and then miraculously have intelligence chiefs in a rival Democratic Party, with a rival Democratic Party running the U.S. government, utilize a dossier that was a bunch of nonsense and gossip to start an investigation. You cannot utilize research that was purchased by Trump's direct political rival to investigate him and everyone around him for 3 years. Sorry, you can't do that. Because they wouldn't allow that to be done to them. And every day, all you hear is Trump without evidence claims. Well, they have claimed without evidence that Trump worked with Russia or that he could have worked with Russia. There wasn't even any evidence that he could have worked with Russia. Because all the evidence is an appeal to authorities that we already know are corrupt. James Clapper and John Brennan should have been charged with perjury. They lied under oath. Anyone who pays attention to anything that they've done over the past 8 years knows that years back they both lied under oath. So, I mean, they kept trying to say that the two standards of justice, yeah, they always project. There is two standards of justice. One is for Democrats and one's for Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to take time. William Barr and John Durham, that whole thing is going to take time. They're not going... Clinton knows that all roads lead to us. So she's not going to allow. They're not going to preside over a political party that allows a person who basically is one fry short of a Happy Meal to save them. The polls are not accurate. In 2016, you could find in polls in October that said Clinton was up by 12. She'll lose again, and then she'll just be like, look, you know what? It wouldn't be embarrassing for Clinton to lose again. It would be actually embarrassing for Biden to lose. Because Clinton could simply say, look, you know what? I didn't let the Russians, stop me. And you know what? It was really too bad with the stampede of wild elephants, or with Biden trying to swim across that river, and then the piranha. It's just too bad. But we needed somebody, and I was only 77,000 votes away in 2016, and then you know what? I'm the first female candidate, and you know what? America wasn't worth. America didn't. They're just not enlightened enough, the average person. And Trump was just, this horrible, tyrant, and who knows what they'll say. But I'll tell you, when they lose again, they're going to want more investigations, and they're going to want. It's going to be the same thing over again. Only this time they'll lack the legitimacy and the credibility, and different factions within the Democratic Party that are barely attached to the Democratic Party will break off. The Green Party will grow. The anarchists and the communists will start their own political party or do their own thing. Finally, they should just start a political party. But anyway, the I'm with her crowd will still stay there. But Bernie Sanders, it really doesn't matter what happens. The whole thing will implode. And I'll be there to enjoy every second along with you. This is what happens when you cheat Bernie Sanders. This is what happens when a person like Bernie Sanders, who's a good human being, but who doesn't have enough courage to say, hey, you cheated me. He should have simply said that and saved the country 3 years and 4 years of this nonsense. This waste of time. Russian Facebook ads impact nobody's life. Zero. They view, they're such narcissists, they view their chances to win an election as national security. But it's not national security. They have never explained why Russia would even fear the Democratic Party. You don't hack into every single database, whether it's the Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Campaign or the DNC, if you truly fear. You don't do all of those things and acquire 20% of U.S. uranium capacity when you fear a country, okay? Because you'd fear then retaliation. So they obviously were acting with impunity, and this took place under President Obama's administration. So the notion that they're so afraid of Democrats and Democrats are so tough on Putin, that's ludicrous. It's not even. It was Trump who provided lethal aid to Ukraine, not the Democratic Party or President Obama. But anyway, give me your thoughts below. We can go on forever. William Barr was fantastic, but they really have nothing. It's kind of hilarious. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee, people. It's just a matter of time, and it's less than a month. In about 3 weeks, I don't know how it's going to happen. But about 3 to 4 weeks. No, about 3 weeks from now. About 3 weeks from now, people, you will have Hillary Clinton at that convention. And it's going to be fantastic. Give me your thoughts below. God bless her. She's a wonderful woman. Give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. That channel is going to heat up. And then my other channel, which who knows what I'm going to do with it, but I already have 5,000 subs. I'll do something good with it. This will be Election Central, because I will have been the only person to accurately and correctly tell you what's really going on. They're not going with Biden. You think they're incompetent? Not when it comes to graft. They're very good at graft and public relations, and The polls are not even, there's nothing accurate about those polls for a bunch of reasons that I always talk about. Democrats are overrepresented. The polls in 2016 were just as horrendous. And the only reason they got the popular vote somewhat accurate was because Clinton outspent Trump 2-1. And Gary Johnson took 4.5 million votes. Watch this week. Kanye West gets on New York. It's game over for Democrats. Game, set, match. Give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. And if you want to support my voice, people, my Patreon is below. Thank you so very, very much.